Well, hello guys, and here today on the Rusty Glove Box, what we're going to do today is I'm going to get started on putting a fence up behind the shop to kind of help protect and keep varmints and all that away from the solar panels and all that, so nothing's digging or snooping around, and keep everybody clean and clear. So anyway, I bought a gasoline powered auger. And I got this thing. It was a smoking deal. I was on the internet and found it at Home Depot for $139. And I said, that thing. Well, I tell you what, we dug a bunch of holes this afternoon, and I really didn't intend to do this much, but in about an hour and a half, something like that, probably just about an hour and 15 minutes actually drilling the holes, or boring the holes, I might say. Got all these done. And I'll tell you what, I'm really happy with that little auger. It saved my... Well, I've got my terminal posts set at each corner, and what I'm going to do is get some cement and put in there and let those posts firm up, and then I'll be able to stretch some lines to make sure the other posts line up. Well, we got our first two terminal posts set right here, and put the water in there, and it's going to take a little while for that to sort of soak in all the way. I put a little in the bottom and a little on the top, and they'll meet in the middle. But anyway, I got them all true, plumb and square and all that, and so now we just move on to the rest. Now that I have my terminal posts all cemented in and everything, I stretch a string from point to point, and then I can install my line posts and gate posts, and that way I can make sure that everything is straight and looks good. Okay, well, I was going to give you a little update on the progress, and what I did is I cut all the posts to the correct height and put the top rail on there. Also, at the bottom, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can use a slick wire, which is really kind of easier to work with, and most chain link fences use a slick wire. I had this barbed wire laying around the shop for 20 years, and I needed something to use it for, so I'm using that at the bottom. That helps reinforce the bottom of the fence so something can't push up under the fence. Stretched it good and tight, got it twisted and all that, so it should never come loose. Well, this is a tool that I made, and a cousin of mine showed me how to do this years ago. He built a lot of fence, and that's kind of how I learned. I learned from him. I'd help him in the summer. And this is just one of these tension bars, and you find the center and you wrap and make a loop around your terminal post, and then you come back here on the end and you make this little duckbill slot. And what you do when you have your tension bar threaded through your fence, then it gives you a point to where you can hook your either your barbed wire fence stretcher or a cable come along, and you can really get a good stretch on your fence that way. Okay, I have my tension bar slid down into the chain link fence. I have it stood up, and I have a few ties across the top to make it stand up. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to anchor the end of this to the tension bar and the post clamps. Okay, so I have this end anchored and I have it where I want it. Once I get ready to tie the top, I'll raise this up a little bit. But now we're getting ready to stretch it, and I'll show you how I do that. You'll pull your fence and kind of get it straightened up and all that. And then you'll start looking, and it's kind of a best guess right now on how far you want to stretch it. And what you'll do is you'll untwist these ends on both ends on this same wire, and you can just unscrew it like a corkscrew. Well, this is how I get started on stretching the fence. I put one tension bar in, a few feet in, and I put my stretcher down to see where it needs to be. And then I have my yellow dogs there to see where it needs to be, so I don't end up being too far away or too close on placing my stretcher. And this is how the stretcher, it grabs the tension bar, and so now I'm all set up to put the yellow dog on it. And when you have your fence stretched, and you'll probably take, I don't know, 6-8 inches out of it, and when you're using your stretcher, you'll pull it as far as you can. Then you can slide your tension bar in there, and then you use your clamps. And this is a 5-foot fence. I used 4, and then I tied across the top, and I will use hog rings on the bottom. This is how I address the little low spot that I cut back here behind the shop, so water would drain away from the building and everything. And I didn't want to just fill this in, and this looked like the simplest, easiest way just to cut a piece of chain link fence, dig a trench, anchor it up there to the fence above, and then, you know, bury it below. Well, I'm going to start on this big gate. It's 10 foot roughly. I'm going to have to get an exact measurement. And when I pulled the chain link fence, I just made this as one pull. And well, right here we have 9'11", and I convert that to inches. And so that's just 1 inch shorter from 10 foot, so it's 119 inches. All right. Your gate hardware is 6 inches. It eats up 6 inches of your gate. So you're going to subtract that, and that's 113. All right, you're going to have 2 gates, so you divide that by 2, and you're going to end up with 56 and a half. All right, because I'm using this gate hardware to help me build it quicker. It has a little ridge in there. You can't see it, but it eats up a little bit of space here. So I subtract from 56 and a half, I subtract 3 inches. And so that will get me a bottom pipe that is 53 and a half inches. And when I slide it inside this bracket, it will give me the proper outside measurement. All right, well, 1 down, 1 to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that other one completed, and then we'll start installing it over there. And installing the hardware is no big deal. You just kind of put it to where it looks good to you, and you can either the hinges 1 foot to 16 inches, depending on the size of the gate too is a big thing. If you had like a 6-foot gate, you know, you probably would space your hinges a little different. But using the 6-inch gap, that really helps on getting your spacing correct. So anyway, that kind of explains that. Here's one good thing to anchor the bottom. Let's see if I can get to anchor the bottom. You can see how you got that slide bar that'll drop down and goes into the pipe that I drove down in the ground. So it'll keep the fence from swinging around. So anyway, guys, I tell you what, that fence is gonna really be a nice addition back there. It's gonna keep the solar array kind of safe and clear from varmints and curious onlookers. So anyway, I appreciate y'all coming by the shop today. This is Rusty Glove Box, and I'm out of here.